The people that the Biden administration thinks are the real threat to America, it's not the drug cartels, it's not foreign threats, it's you, it's the American people. Yeah. If you have questions about COVID, if you have questions about COVID masks, if you have questions about the COVID vaccine, this administration wanted you to be monitored. This disinformation board was set up to go after you. That's what the documents say. They talk about the need for this disinformation board to monitor and to counter so-called disinformation about the COVID vaccine, about people who are raising question about the efficacy of masks, about people who are raising questions about the origins of COVID, and on, frankly, this administration's concerted efforts to mislead the American public about its own attempts to track and censor and, frankly, punish American speech, which is deeply antithetical.
Hey, my friends, let's take a closer look together. Welcome to Veracity. I'm your host, Michael Lewis. In 2002, as a result of the 9/11 terrorist attacks on the World Trade Center and the Pentagon, the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, was established to fight international terrorist threats targeting the United States. But today, the same department has become so twisted that they are not only targeting American citizens, but also issuing false statements while testifying in front of Congress under oath. According to the documents obtained by Senator Charles Grassley and Senator Josh Hawley from a DHS whistleblower, the execution of the controversial Disinformation Governance Board, DGB, already began by September 2021 by collaborating with the infamous platform Twitter. Now, if you rewind back to the timeline of their false statements of May 2022, DH Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, while testifying under oath in front of Congress on May 4th, claimed that DGB had not yet begun its work. On May 1st, 2022, Mayorkas openly declared to the news media that the DGB would be focused on disinformation from foreign state adversaries and the cartels and would not monitor American citizens. And on May 2nd, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki also claimed that the board will be focused on human traffickers and other transnational criminal organizations. However, as per the documents obtained from the whistleblower, DHS senior officials as well as Mayorkas were secretly planning and establishing their setup since last year to control our freedom of speech. The documents handed over by the whistleblower revealed that the DGB was conceived from the very beginning to monitor the domestic speech of the U.S. citizens concerning, and I quote, conspiracy theories about the validity and security of elections and disinformation related to the origins and effects of COVID-19 vaccines or the efficacy of masks. The evidence also showed that the DGB charter was personally signed by oath-breaking Mayorkas on February 24, 2022, which confirmed the beginning of the Disinformation Governance Board. But one might wonder, how would the Department of Homeland Security be able to keep a closer look at the 328.46 million people of America? And how would it be able to block our freedom of speech in seconds? Well, why look elsewhere when there is an established platform in the market which is well known for censoring truthful views? Twitter. According to these leaked documents, Mayorkas and his team were constantly in touch with Twitter executives to design a mechanism through which they can instantly block any content, no matter how significant it is for the society, with just one click. In fact, another secret meeting with Twitter's head of global public policy, Nick Pickles, and head of site security, Yoel Roth, was scheduled for April 28th, and this time they were planning to take a bigger step in censoring the citizens. The documents revealed that the meeting talked about several discussion points, in which the most significant one was creating a domestic terrorism branch within the Counterterrorism Mission Center of the DHS, which will help in providing timely information that needs to be censored. Furthermore, DHS officials drafted legislation to create a rumor control program to counter misinformation and disinformation, including a public-facing website. As the document talked about DGB relying on clear and objective facts as a green signal to censor citizens' views, the senators in their June 7th letter to Mayorkas argued that nowhere in the document it has been explained about what type of content or view DGB would consider as clear and objective facts, and no safeguard was mentioned with respect to people who were expressing their views by their own belief system. What if a teenage boy who wants to contribute to the development of the country shares his honest views about the political leaders? Maybe he's talking about a new point that no one's ever heard of. But if the Disinformation Governance Board did not like it, they could simply block him forever.
There's a whole range of things that are at stake here when we talk about eliminating Roe v. Wade and all the flows
same-sex
from
marriage.
I mean, it's just ridiculous, in my view. And I don't think the country will stand for it, but I think what we're going to have to do, there's some executive orders I could employ, we believe.
My daughter's birthday. Oh, how about that?
Said an expression, family is the beginning, the middle, and the end.
As the Supreme Court is likely to release its opinion in Roe v. Wade case on June 13th, and as violent protesters plan to take the lives of Supreme Court judges, Biden declared that he is considering issuing executive orders to block the overturning of the Roe v. Wade case. Biden first made the comment when he appeared on Jimmy Kimmel Live on June 8th. This is what he told Jimmy. If Roe v. Wade is reversed and these states impose the limitations they're talking about, it's going to cause a mini revolution, and they're going to vote a lot of these folks out of office. However, if he has read the draft opinion completely, it clearly says that each state is at complete liberty to regulate its own abortion laws. Supreme Court has handed over the discretionary power to the leaders of each state. So why press constantly on the issue when it does not make sense? Now, it should be noted that this statement from Biden was made on the same day when a suspect was arrested for plotting to kill Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh, who also supported the overturning of the Roe v. Wade case, which shows that Biden is completely aware of what kind of danger could be caused to the integrity and the life of the Supreme Court judges if he releases such statements in public. Nevertheless, he went ahead and continued spewing disinformation to the public. The abortion ruling is just going to be the beginning. The Supreme Court would then outlaw the use of contraception because in the Constitution, there was no right to privacy. It's just ridiculous in my view, and I don't think the country will stand for it. But I think what we are going to have to do, there's some executive orders I can employ, we believe. We're looking at that right now.
Michael Ozzie Myers is infamous for his role in the 1970s ab scam scandal. He and other elected officials were caught on camera taking tens of thousands of dollars in bribes from who they thought was an Arab sheik. Now the feds say Myers is the one doing the bribing. The indictment against Myers accuses him of using some of the money candidates paid him to pay election board officials to tamper with the election results.
The ballot is stronger than the bullet, said Abraham Lincoln. But this valuable quote does not apply to the former Democratic Pennsylvania Congressman Michael Myers, who has pleaded guilty to several election fraud charges, like depriving voters of their civil rights, bribery, obstruction of justice, falsification of voting records, and stuffing ballot boxes for his own Democratic candidates for almost 4 years between 2014 and 2018. So in order to commit election fraud, according to the Department of Justice, Myers first bribed and collaborated with the election judge in Philadelphia, Dominic J. DeMuro, to illegally add votes to certain Democratic individuals, including the candidates for federal and state offices. Myers then received payment in cash or checks from the highest Democratic bidder and then sends DeMuro his part of the bribe, as decided. So once the bribe was received, Myers would direct DeMuro to add the fraudulent votes to the total during Election Day, and then DeMuro would later falsely certify that the voting machine results were accurate. But the fraud did not end there. There's more to it. Myers also collaborated with another election judge named Marie Beren of the 39th Ward 2nd Division in Philadelphia. Myers and Beren ran the same fraudulent scam. Thankfully, before Myers could corrupt the system any further, he has now been sentenced to 60 years in prison and a fine of $1.25 million. The U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Pennsylvania, Jennifer Williams, had this to say about the corruption and fraud. Voting is the cornerstone of our democracy. If even one vote has been illegally cast, or if the integrity of just one election official is compromised, it diminishes faith in the process. Votes are not things to be purchased, and democracy is not for sale. If you are a political consultant, election official, or work with the polling places in any way, I urge you to do your job honestly and faithfully. That is what the public deserves and what the federal government will enforce.
Enough is enough. Why are we destroying America? The White House, I am begging President Biden. Enough is enough. I'm begging the Democratic senators. Enough is enough. A recession does not have to happen.
Somebody's on the path to destruct America, and somebody's got to say, guys, enough is enough. These soul-shaking words were recently expressed by New York billionaire and owner of the Gristedes food chain, John Katsumatidis. While being interviewed, John strongly expressed that President Biden's obsession with not tapping into oil reserves in America is the leading cause of rising energy prices and record-breaking inflation. He said, "We have 100 years worth of oil. Let the government open up the spigots and the price of crude oil will come back down to $55, $60, maybe $65, half." Furthermore, he stressed that raising federal interest rates will not only drive the country into recession, but could also wipe out every industry we know. As the average price per gallon of regular gas is nearly $5, John strongly criticized Biden for asking Saudi Arabia and other nations for more crude oil, claiming it makes no sense. However, when Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo was asked what they are going to do on their end to resolve these issues, she continued spewing the same old lie. You know, this is in large part caused by Russian aggression. The prices will not go down until the conflict ends. I want to thank you all for spending time with me. Now don't forget, watch this video right up here and join me on Monday at the same time and we'll discuss more truths happening in America. Have an amazing weekend and I'll see you next time.